Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching. We are at the Gaylord National Hotel just outside of Washington, D.C. today. On our show is Raj Sharma, who is the president and CEO of 3CLogic. Raj, how are you?
Very good, thank you. It's great to be here.
We are thrilled to have you, and I was hoping to start off by doing an overview of just your company and what you're involved in these days.
3CLogic is a provider of cloud-based services for the call center industry. So we provide a complete solution for call centers, contact centers, and we offer it in a cloud-based fashion. And we are able to do this in a private cloud, as a public cloud, as well as a hybrid cloud.
So cloud computing, cloud communications, call center in the cloud, all of these cloud technologies have become extremely popular as of late. How have you seen the trend towards hosted applications affect your business? Has it been a big push?
Especially in these times, we see a lot of customers being really open towards cloud-based services because, again, it has a direct impact on their cost structure. And what we are also seeing is that people are actually building cloud-based services into their business plans. So every CIO gets asked, what's the cloud strategy for their organization? So we see a tremendous uptick in people looking for cloud-based services. Now, if they have a premise-based solution, they're not going to get rid of it. But cloud becomes a complementary strategy for any customer who has an on-premise call center system.
So for peak demand and things like that,
Exactly, peak demand, seasonal demand. Sometimes some of our BPO customer, business process organization, they get a project for 6 months and suddenly they need 500 seats to do a campaign. To do that on a traditional premise-based system would take 2 or 3 months of planning.
Right.
In a cloud-based system, you can do that in a matter of a week and have those 500 seats up and running that campaign.
So this would explain the need for the hybrid that you mentioned earlier, hybrid cloud, right?
The hybrid has a big impact on some of the security concerns that CIOs have, and rightly so. The hybrid cloud offers a way so that the CIOs can keep the data that they're concerned about, the security concerns. That data can be kept locally on their premise, while everything else that doesn't have to be secured can be derived from the cloud. So for instance, in the call center space, the recordings of calls can certainly be in the cloud, but if those recordings need to be secured, then those recordings are stored locally on premise. Same thing with sensitive information like social security numbers, credit card information. They really don't have to be stored in the cloud. They don't even have to be transmitted on the wire. They can be resident on the local database. And then when the call gets connected, that information can be displayed on the agent's desktop.
So it sounds like a lot of flexibility built in.
Exactly. I think the ability to take data and distribute it so that the secure data stays on the premise while everything else is derived from the cloud gives a lot of flexibility, at the same time taking care of the security requirements.
So you've answered the security question. The next question that sometimes comes up when you move to the cloud is uptime and just keeping systems running. How do you address that challenge?
In our situation, 3CLogic, what we have done is we have implemented something called VTAG, Virtual Telephony Application Grid. It's a distributed computing model. So the only thing that is really centralized are the management, reporting, and analytics servers. And again, they're backed up for redundancy. But the call processing actually happens on the agent's desktop. And as a result, even if one desktop goes down, the other 499 agents are still in business. So the uptime we get is really, really high because of some of these things, because of the distributed nature and the implementation of a distributed architecture called VTAG.
Now, is it a proprietary system that you've built, or is it on open source? Or
it is, VTAG is our proprietary architecture and implementation. That is our secret sauce. But it is based on telephony application grid and grid computing. So we have taken the concepts of grid computing and applied that to telephony for the first time, really, because most of the grid applications are not real time. Telephony is the first real time application that runs on a grid.
Sure. So going forward, what do you see as the biggest competitive threat? Is it other companies? Is it ignorance of the cloud? Or what do you see as the or the biggest challenge that your company has to overcome?
So, at the end of the day, the customers really don't, what they really care about is, can I buy something that is better, faster, and cheaper? And, the underlying architecture, if it delivers those things, and if we can articulate that, our system is faster, better, and cheaper, and yes, it is faster, better, and cheaper because of this architecture, that's what gives us the advantage over our competitors. And that's what the customers are really looking for is, how can we save money, how can it run faster, and how we can do things better.
And one last question. You told me about a BPO situation where they're able to scale up rapidly and turn back down without having the months of planning. Can you give me one other example of how you've helped the customer that you could share with the viewers and myself?
Well, sometimes certainly a seasonal or a campaign definitely yields to this. But another big way we have helped the customer with our technology is taking care of their security concerns. So, a customer of ours really didn't want to transmit any of the customer information other than name and phone number, no social security number, no credit card number on the wire, and they didn't want that to be stored in the cloud either. And we were able to really design a system for them. Even though it was a cloud-based service, we were able to design a system for him so that he took advantage of a cloud-based service.
It's very exciting. Raj, thanks for being on the program and sharing some information about your company, and good luck with your future growth.
Thank you, Rich.